All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Oh, come on, you were just at a school here. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, that's more like it. Everyone I spoke with thus far had an incredible morning, and as did I. And for those I haven't met, I'm Mihal Chamberlain. I'm the president of Massachusetts for Bank of America. And on behalf of my team that's with me today, I just want to welcome you to 100 Federal Street. This is our Boston and Massachusetts headquarters. We're thrilled to have you. And we're even more excited that we have Principal Partners back. Good hiatus. I'm going to thank a few people here in a minute, but before I do that, I mean, my main takeaway from today is every time now I'm thinking I'm having a tough or challenging day, I'll think about what our principals are encountering and dealing with every day. They're amazing people, but you know, today wouldn't have come together as quickly as it did. I mean, this is one of the fastest it's come together. It's thanks to everybody in this room that participated, but particularly to Mayor Wu's office, Alex Meadow, to my friend Jim Rooney here, and Superintendent Skipper. Those two came to me and said, you know, Bank of America want to lead this again, and of course we want to. We know how important it is to see the work that's going on, and Jesse Solomon at BPE's been behind this for so many years. So it was a collaboration of many from the business and the public side, and that's how stuff gets done. So I'm thrilled that we got to this point. I know we have some principals that are joining us here. I met a few of them here today at lunch. A big thank you to you and what you do every day. You're the CEOs of your school. You're the heart. You're the lifeblood. There's a lot of CEOs and other executives in the room, but that's the way we view you. You're running a very important and frankly probably more important operation than we are, because you are working with the future of our workforce. You're working with future leaders. Our goal is that at some point these students are going to be principals for a day. They'll be in this room with us. I'll be retired hopefully by then. But well, thank you for retiring. Is that okay? Yeah, I didn't know if that was just Aaron clapping with that one. But just another little quick story. You know, I had the pleasure of being in East Boston today at the Adams School and spent the morning with Principal Joanna Cruz, who's a force of nature. And, you know, the experience from welcoming the kids in at 7:15, all the teachers, the principals were there welcoming in. Some are being brought in by not their parents. Many of them are coming off the bus despite being local. And it was amazing, the diversity, not only in the educators, but of course the students that were there. And when I think about the workforce that we want to hire for the future, it looks exactly like that school. And I know there's a lot of people in the room that run companies here and think about the same thing. We're always challenged to further diversify our workforce. It's incredibly important. We want to look like the communities that we're operating in. We want to give people an opportunity to succeed, and it starts with the school system, frankly, and the work that the principals are doing. So, you know, a couple of stats Joanna threw at me. 91% of our students are identified as high needs, and 25% of students are those with special rights. So I went into multiple classrooms where autistic children and those with behavioral, obviously identify with behavioral habits that the teachers have to try and deal with. And what was most telling was that the students, when I was saying, hey, you know, you must be thrilled to be going on vacation next week, a lot of them were not happy to be going on vacation next week because their parents are working, they don't have an outlet, they don't have structure, and a lot of them are going to be in their apartment or someone else's apartment with nothing to do. So I think that's another telling sign of what a great job our principals are doing every day. So thank you again for all of that. You know, Principal Partners is, for me, I hope this is the start of a long year-long effort that we do. But as I was talking to Jim and Mary before lunch, one of the most important things we can do is take some action items away from this as a business community and work with Superintendent Skipper and others, the mayor, on how we can further make an impact and help these schools and help the children, whether it be the summer jobs program, The Chamber's working on the apprenticeship program. There are a lot of ways that as businesses we can help, and that's something that we all have to commit to. So that would be my ask of everyone for a free lunch today, if you can stay committed to this important effort. So with that, I don't want to steal all of Jim's lines, but I want to invite my friend Jim Rooney up, who, as we know, runs the Chamber for us, highly committed to workforce development, highly committed to education, transportation, all things that go into running a successful school system as well. So, Jim, thanks for helping put this together, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mihal. Even if there were some lines in there, I could make up all kinds of lines, so we'll be good. I'm Jim Rooney, President and CEO of the Greater Boston Chamber, for those I don't know, and I want to begin with a big thank you to Mihal, not only for the introduction, but the incredible partnership and collaboration that made today possible. You know, there was this Principal for a Day, now Principal Partners, that existed, and Superintendent Skipper and I were talking, as we do several times a week, and you know, we talked about, why don't we bring that thing back? And I said, you know, well, Bank of America was one of the big promoters, sponsors of this thing. I said, well, all right, I'll call Mihal. And I call Mihal, and I know that his staff and my staff always worry when we talk, and they did this time, and he said, yeah, let's do it. And you know, but that's the kind of spirit that Bank of America has in our community. And think about this. They decided to participate and help create this week, when in whatever it is, 4 or 5 days, they're the presenting sponsor of the Boston Marathon that they picked up to make sure is a big success. So, so please join me in thanking Bank of America for everything they did. I of course want to thank the mayor. Mayor Wu will be here in just a few minutes, and you know, the media likes to write that the business community and the mayor don't always agree. She outed us last time she spoke to the Chamber and said that Jim's my secret BFF. So you know, we do disagree on some things, but there's one thing that we don't disagree on, which is that the success of the Boston Public Schools is a mutual goal. That's something that we want to work on, that we want to collaborate on and work together on. So that's unbroken, and we'll continue to do that. My friend and neighbor, Superintendent Mary Skipper, boy, did we hit the lottery when Mary Skipper was chosen as superintendent. We feel good about the direction of the Boston Public School System in a way that we haven't felt in a long time, and that is really an attribute of something that we assign to Mary's leadership. So thank you for that partnership. And Jesse Solomon, I saw Jesse earlier, the Boston Plan for Excellence, another partner in this endeavor, and I know a group that is always thinking about how do we sort of keep the ball moving. So Jesse, thank you for all you're doing. So, you know, we're grateful to bring the partnership back. It is an important program. It is important that we find ways to demonstrate the support of the business community for our public school system. And the superintendent and I decided that we were going to go big and we were going to go bold. Pleased to announce that we today had 93 business leaders who spent the morning in 86 Boston public schools with 87 principals who opened their doors to us. And I said that this is a relaunch. This is the largest one that has ever occurred. So thank you all for that. You know, I think that our business community delivered today and showed their desire to be a partner with the Boston Public School System, so I'm grateful to you. I said to the superintendent, I said, you know, we got to have this lunch, we got to bring all the principals for a day over, and we got to bring all the principals over too. She said, Jim, I can't have 87 principals walk out of their schools, so we do have a few principals that are with us today, but I want to share a quick story. You know, I had a previous job working in the mayor's office about 20-something years ago as chief of staff, and the superintendent at the time was Tom Pazon, who I came to be good friends with, and I thought Tom was a terrific leader of the Boston Public School System. And I sat down with Tom, and I said many times, but I said, you know, Tom, give me the one key ingredient of the success of a school system like Boston. And without hesitation, he said the principals. He said, those are the people that make it happen every day. Those are the people that we have to provide the resources to. Those are the people that we have to support. So I know they're not all here, but I hope their colleagues will report back that we gave a big round of applause to all of the principals that we joined. Now, beyond that, I'm very motivated by self-interest. And I did have a self-interest in having more business people than schools and principals. Now, Mary Skipper and I are very good friends, and early on in this endeavor, we made a bet. And it was a dinner bet, and I bet Mary that I would have more business people than she would have principals in schools. And if you remember the math, I won 93 to 86. So Mary, I get to pick the place that we're going to dinner, and I will enjoy it immensely that you're paying for it. So, you know, Mihal mentioned this. I come at this with a very strong belief that in this moment, a school system like Boston needs a strategic business community relationship. I don't know that a superintendent or those wonderful principals that we saw today can do it alone today. The assignments, the task that they have requires us to think about how we can support the work that they're trying to do every day. And it isn't just money. You know, the checks help. The resources help, of course it helps. But it is providing some experiential learning opportunities. It is thinking about curriculum development. It is thinking about whether there aren't opportunities for a business person to go into a classroom and help a teacher sort of explain that subject matter that they work on every day for a living, whether it's biology or financial services or whatever it is. I get the opportunity to travel around the country looking at other regions, best practices and so forth, and I'm convinced that a key success factor in a school system like Boston is the relationship between the business community and the school system. So in partnership with Mary Skipper, we're just going to keep trying to drive that and try to elevate, drive, scale, whatever relationships exist. And I do know, looking around the room and having conversations with people, there's already some great relationships. There's already some wonderful things that the business community is bringing to the table. We need to scale it. We need to learn from those experiences. We need to find ways to engage more, and we just need to keep doing it. And the work will never end. It needs to keep going. So you'll be getting a call. You'll be, you know, we want to keep moving forward on this, and we want to make sure that we participate in embedding the necessary skills for all of the kids in the Boston school system to achieve in life and their jobs and their careers, and we have a role in it. You know, I know it's probably been a long time since some of you were in a public school system, an elementary school or a high school. I hope the day was rewarding for you. And as Mihal said, I hope that there's some stickiness. I hope that there's something that you all will think about, will follow up on, will, you know, decide that your company or you as an individual can play a role in helping that school succeed. You know, we're going to continue the work with the superintendent. We've already announced that in the fall we're launching a financial literacy pilot in the BPS system. You know, we just really believe that every high school graduate of the Boston Public School System someday should have access to a financial literacy program and understand what credit is and interest rates are and how to balance a checkbook and all of those things. So we're pleased to work with several chamber members to do that. So we're going to keep doing these kinds of programs, and I'm going to keep calling you saying I need your help. I do want to say, because as I said at the beginning, every time Mihal and I have an idea or decide to do something, our staffs get worried. You know, the person on my team that really pulled it all together for the chamber and us is Mike Holland. So I want to give a big round of applause for him. Now with that, and you know, I got the microphone before, so I got to report that I won the bet. But it gives me great pleasure to introduce the superintendent of the Boston Public Schools, Mary Skipper.
So first of all, to be honest, I was getting emotional because I came back to BPS because I experienced a BPS that existed back when Dr. Pezant and Carol Johnson were here. And I saw firsthand the difference that that school district made in the lives of children. Every child. And today is historical because it is returning to the roots of what we know it takes to make that school system. And that is not just the people that work in it, but the people who live and work and lead in Boston. And that's you. We can do so much, but what we can't always do is put arms as big as this city around our kids. And the time you took today to learn about our schools, to go in them, to shake a principal's hand, to recognize like the hard work they do, to thank the teachers and congratulate them, to let the students see what they can be if they keep at their work. We can't do all that. But today, as a community, you guys did that. And, you know, Mihal, thank you so much for just Bank of America's consistent support of the program. You didn't hesitate when we asked. Yes, I owe Jim dinner. I tried to say Burger King. He rejected that, so I'll have to see what it's going to cost me. But this was a bet I did not mind losing, because when I saw the numbers and I saw that there were 94 of you in the business, the nonprofit and the community, who are leaders of your organizations, who could make the change that you started today, that was well worth the bet, and that's well worth dinner. To Jesse and to Boston Plan for Excellence, you guys have just been in this for a really long time, and Jesse probably has a lot of the same memories I do. To Chair Robinson, who is the chair of our school committee, for coming out and supporting, as she always does. Just like, you know, Mihal and Jim need somebody to ground them, that person for me is Ann Clark. Just amazing amount of work that she did. Why I got emotional was like when I came in the room, people couldn't wait to tell me how awesome BPS is. Like, they couldn't wait to tell me, I met this principal, I went to this school, I met these kids, I saw these teachers. Like, I can't believe, like, it's just, I heard rigor in the classroom. They were working on things I didn't work on until the 7th grade and they were in the 5th. Like, I saw them doing a poetry slam. I'd never seen one of those before. The things that you expressed, like that joy, that belief in the system, is what I have in my heart every day. And sometimes that narrative does not get told. In fact, most often it does not get told. But you now are disciples because you have seen that, to now go out and share that. That's kind of number one. I think number two is that we call this Principal Partners because now there's an opportunity to do just that. to become a partner with somebody in that school, with that principal, with that community, and to figure out how do you take your gift from your company or from your community org, your nonprofit, how do you take that gift and that energy and how do you transfer some of that to the kids that are in that school? And so on your tables, you see sheets, which are ideas. They're not exhaustive. Jim gave some examples of things that are possible. But these are everything from mentoring a young person, pen paling a young person, having folks from your organization come in, and maybe it's doing Saturday tutoring, maybe it's a paint project, maybe it's hosting a workshop, to other kinds of partnerships, like actually partnering with that school, soup to nuts. We have some of those examples in this room right now, where there's organizations and companies that have been a long-term partner of that school. And they do everything from sponsoring to being involved in the classrooms to, in some cases, building programming in there. And then there's district connection, right? Jim talked about financial literacy. To me, our students are your future workforce. Our students. So your investment is key to getting them ready for that. So financial literacy, when we met with the first kind of roundtable with the business, with the chamber, we identified financial literacy and then worked in a small group, teachers, alongside the business community to say, what does that curriculum look like? We developed the curriculum and we're rolling it out as a pilot this spring. And the goal is to have that in our high schools, maybe down as low as the middle schools. We next want to do healthcare. And what does that look like? What does health science look like? So eventually we can work through, with the chamber, all different kinds of areas to be able to give our kids the preparation they need to succeed in your companies and in your nonprofits and in your community orgs, so someday they sit where you are sitting, sharing your journey. Lots of ways to roll up the sleeves. And I think, like at day's end, because for me, I feel called to this work. Like, I don't do it for a paycheck. I do it because I feel called. And the question is, when you leave today, how have you changed? What did you see? What did you experience today that's going to cause you to take a next step? And what is that? Right? That's thinking about call. I want to hear the energy that I heard when I came in. So I have 2 mics, and I have confidence that this crowd can do this. I'm going to start at that end and this end. I'm not going to touch the mic. We're going to pass it so that everybody can do a quick share of what's one takeaway from today, of what you saw, what you experienced, that you would never have known if you had not chosen to come today. Sound good? I have confidence. 2 mics, they both work. Nobody wants to look at me right now. Nobody. But I'm going to start with the principal. Make it easy for you.
So I have to contextualize this. My name is Richard Chang, principal of the Josiah Quincy Upper School. And I just want to express my gratitude to everyone here in this room. Some of you know that we have a new building. Literally, that building would not have been possible without all the stakeholders involved, the community partners, the business leaders, the mayor's office, the state treasurer's office, and so on. I think it was the business leaders who talked to Mayor Menino, and then Mayor Walsh. We have Chief Brophy over here. I think Mayor Walsh recognized that you have to have good schools in order to develop the local economy. And so it is really a partnership. I think you recognize you have to have good students and good school systems so that it can fuel our knowledge economy here in Boston. I know that White House wants to bring back the manufacturing jobs, but I think we definitely want the higher income, the more opportunities are.
And I should have said 30 seconds.
Sorry. Anyway, so on behalf of maybe all the principals, thank you.
I'll keep it very brief and I'll direct it to Mr. Jim Rooney. Primi sunt malori sumus. Are there any Latin grads here? They are first, we are better. Go BLA.
Hi everyone, I'm Liza Perry from Tufts University. It's an honor to have the opportunity to be with our principal friends today. I was over at the Boston Arts Academy, and what I was so impressed by was how much got done just by walking around the school and being present. And I think that that's the gift of principals, is they have to wear so many different hats and have to be so sort of flexible and constantly morphing themselves into working with different types of stakeholders of the school. And I was just so impressed by Tyrone, the principal I was with today, and how he was just connecting with every single person that he saw in the hallway. So, thank you.
And David, after you.
Yeah, sure. I can go straight there if you want, Mary.
No, go ahead, you go.
David Shapiro from the Y of Greater Boston, and BLA is playing BLS in baseball today, so go Dragons. Sorry, Jim. Yeah, I know, that's a beautiful sweatshirt. BLS has the money for that. But yeah, I would just say, you know, and a little bit of a PSA, but for the hub schools and seeing hub school principals who are trying to create schools that sort of meet all of the community and family needs of students, I think that's always an awakening for me, that schools are really a whole community effort, and the hub schools really have that right. So I know on this paper it talks about partnering with your hub schools, but it's a way to really get into community deeper than just the school building and have walls, no walls in schools. Tiffany, am I going?
Okay, we're going to go this side.
Where do you want? Oh, one of that.
Hello everyone, Ana Rosa Munoz, and I'm with ARCA HR Solutions. I went to the Rafael Hernandez school and spent the morning with Danielle, Principal Danielle Costello, and I'm going to keep it really brief, but I came out with 2 words of what I thought of the day, and it was a building full of passion and dedication. And I left with 2 words: deeply appreciated for the work the principals do in the schools of Boston. So thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Carly Osceola from United Way. David took my line. I was going to talk about hub schools. I got to be at the Gardner this morning, which is the very first hub school in Boston, and I got to see what that really can be brought to life and mean for children and families. So it's really building on the assets and opportunities of everything the school has to offer. I got to participate in a family coffee hour where parents actually made an English coffee spread, and they talked about the importance of having clothing for kids, connections to after school, connections in resources in the school, so that kids and families can really thrive. And they mentioned the Greater Boston Wise ESOL program that exists for parents. Hundreds of families are coming every week to work on ESOL. It was really amazing.
Thanks, Carly. Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Lafferty, Executive Director of the South Boston Neighborhood House. I was so appreciative to be part of the Principal Partner Program, coming from the nonprofit world and not the business community. But I think we have a lot to share and we can really work together. I was at the Perkins School today in South Boston, where I was born and raised and worked, so it was really unique for me. But really what I walked away with was a genuine, true sense of appreciation for the job of a principal. I was just blown away with, you know, I was at the door welcoming the students in and she was dealing with bus situations and children maybe at the wrong school at the wrong time, and then, you know, staff calling out sick, which we all deal with, but who's going to cover those classes? Field trips and bus schedules about the field trips, and IEP meetings with parents who weren't thrilled with what they were hearing on the other end, and you know, all of the things. And I really just walked away with, I'm grateful for the job I have and that I'm not a school principal.
Hi everybody, I'm Andrew Plum from Arrow Street Architecture and Design, and I had the opportunity to tour the Chetwick School in Hyde Park and was just so impressed with Principal Burnett and her warmth, and for me the word that came to mind was just belonging. She made sure that every child felt seen and they were greeted, and did you have breakfast? Are you okay? You know, and that wasn't just at the front door, that was just walking around. She was just making sure everyone felt like they were in their safe space and that they could be, you know, just appreciated for who they were, and they could feel, you know, seen and safe there. So thank you for this opportunity for me to experience that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Alicia Collins with National Grid. I was at English High School in Jamaica Plain, America's oldest public high school. They wanted to make sure I said that. 1821, so for our BLS and BLA folks, just wait. No, I had the pleasure of spending my morning with Kaylin Murphy and her Director of Business, Adriana Ferrara. And my takeaway was the culture there amongst the staff is trickling down to those young people. Everyone is engaged. The educators come out of their classrooms in the transition of their periods, and you see that interaction, and these young people feel really seen. And watching the high fives and the checking in and the hugs, how have you been? I haven't seen you. And that means something. And I was just like totally blown away with the academics, but how engaged they were in their coursework. And I can't wait to get back and figure out what it is that National Grid can do to support the young people and their educators. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Hi, I'm Lauren Vecchione. I'm a Senior Vice President at Colliers, and I had the pleasure of spending the morning at the Orchard School in Roxbury with Principal Lauren Murdoch, who I think had been there for about 4 years. I was blown away by how large the school was. There were 800 kids, 130 staff, 130 people is just the size of our company. And walking through the halls with her, she knew all the kids' names. She would shake their hand, congratulate them on being scholars who were going to go on a field trip today. She took the hand of a young girl who just said she needed a break. She knew exactly who she was, you know, walked her down the hall. One of the stats that Principal Murdoch told us that I know she was really proud of was when she first came to the school, there were 119 suspensions, out of school suspensions, which I asked her what that meant. She said, it means these kids are out of school for 1 to 3 days out of their week during the suspensions. And last year, I think she got that down to 19. So it just shows like her dedication, the love and the community that that school has, and how the kids are really enjoying being there and wanting to stay at that school. So we actually at Colliers, we already agreed we're gonna have some of the kids come on a field trip and host a lunch and just show them what it means to be in a big building like this. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this.
We'll do one more lucky person on that side. Oh, EY, okay.
Hi everyone, Josh Liberman here, EY. I got to visit the Clapp School, elementary school in Dorchester. It was a terrific experience. This seems to be a theme here. The principal, Emma Fialka Feldman, yes, she was doing some firefighting with buses showing up with one kid when they should have a lot of kids, and going on field trips when kids don't have permission slips. But the way she proactively, not just reactively, proactively had many systems in place to engage the students, to engage the faculty, to engage the community, the parents, that resulted in, and is resulting in, significantly higher attendance rates. She was very proud of that, and it was evident. I walked in the school, the kids are running to her to hug them. She had cell phone numbers of all the parents. Parents come in and volunteer in the schools to be mentors in the classroom. It was absolutely incredible. And actually, I was really surprised to handle it. It was very nice. Thank you.
That's awesome, and thanks. I know it's not easy to share when you're in a big crowd, but it's so important for everybody to be able to hear each other's experiences. And honestly, for our principals, they will be thrilled that you gave them such an applause. We'll make sure that we pass that back on. So now it's my pleasure, and Jim's pleasure, to introduce our mayor, who could not be a better champion for our school system, just giving us the resources we need, being super involved and willing to walk the walk with us. I can't think of a better partner to do this work with. And she was so excited about today and the fact that we were bringing this back as Principal Partners Day. And so, no further ado, Mayor Wu.
Still got it, Mary.
I'm just here to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for what you do every day, and thank you for translating the commitment to our kids and students and educators and education in general to now a very, very specific set of connections and relationships and understanding. Any day is a good day for me when I get to see Jim in his Wolfpack Pride outfit. I won't expect to see that more around the city. And it's just a testament to how our superintendent does things and how our business community steps up, that the year we decide to bring this back, not only is it just brought back, it is brought back bigger than it's ever been. And so the fact that more companies and more leaders participated than ever before, you know, we are always wanting to grab the championship rings for the city in many ways, and we know that the oldest school system in the country deserves to be the best, that it's not easy, especially in this moment when there are so many pressures on our families, which then become pressures on our educators, which become pressures on our school leaders and our school communities. But ultimately, this is about who we are as a city, and the young people who are today the bright-eyed, talented learners, but very soon, tomorrow, the week after, a couple of years later, going to be the ones who are in our seats right here, who are leading the city, who are running every bit of Boston. And the best return on investment that we can see is in our students, because that translates into our families and our entire city. So we have so much that we're working on within the Boston Public Schools. I'm so grateful to the superintendent and her team, because every possible place that we're trying to find a new idea that could push us a little bit harder, every new partnership that could be created, we're leaning all the way in to recognize that Boston students should be educated not just in the four walls of their classroom or their school building, but across the entire city. So shout out to Madam Chair of our Boston School Committee and all of our school committee members. Thank you so much to the Chamber for really working on this, for planning not only this special event today, but a larger and more sustainable and meaningful partnership between the district and the school and the business community. We don't just want to come knocking once a year to ask for summer jobs, although we need more summer jobs, so if you could help us with that, that'd be great too. We want this to be a year-round partnership that is based on meaningful engagement. We hope that you have seen that the types of experiences that your workforce could have in partnering intensively with a school community or getting directly involved would be beneficial to how your people feel rooted in the city and making a difference in this moment in the world as well. So there are endless ways to plug in, to get connected. We've suggested a few of them in a little bit of a menu in terms of next steps and follow-up, but please know that our doors are always open. We're always going to be eager to any ideas you have about how to connect our young people with opportunities and how to continue strengthening the resources and the access that families have to the amazing things happening across the city and each and every one of your organizations as well. But thank you so much for taking part in today.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. In behalf of the business community, I want to thank the mayor for her leadership and her partnership, as I said earlier, in working with all of us. You know, I couldn't have said it better. These kids in these school systems are our future employees and future leaders, and we have an obligation to make sure that they're ready to sit in these seats and to lead the city forward. So please make today a sticky event. Please make today something that makes you reflect and makes you go back to your companies, your businesses, your families, and say, you know what, we have an opportunity to sort of lean into this in simple ways and in big ways. So let's do it on behalf of all of those kids, and as I said, those principals that we met today. They're the big secret that's now out of the bag. That is going to make this all work for all of us. So thank you all for coming today, and please enjoy each other's company and enjoy the rest of the day.